All right, let's jump right in. Money can feel like the secret language, full of invisible rules and forces that just seem designed to be confusing. But it really doesn't have to be. Today, we're going to pull back the curtain and demystify some of the most basic financial ideas that shape, well, all of our lives.
Have you ever felt this? You've worked hard, you get that exciting email, you've been paid, and it says, let's say, $2,000. But when you actually check your bank account, a huge piece of it is just gone. It's a universal feeling, right? A mix of confusion and honestly, a little bit of pain.
That is the million-dollar question, isn't it? That missing money isn't just vanishing into thin air. Nope. It's being routed through this really complex system that, once you start to understand it, actually begins to make a whole lot more sense. So let's figure it out. First things first, we need to understand the basic plumbing of the financial world. These are the foundational pieces of the system that every single one of us interacts with, whether we realize it or not. We're talking taxes, banks, and the very idea of money itself.
So let's go back to that $2,000 paycheck. As you can see here, a big slice gets taken out for federal and state taxes, then another chunk for Social Security, and a piece for Medicare. What you actually get to keep, your net pay, is what's left over. This right here, this is that modern ritual in action.
So what are all these taxes even for? Well, at the end of the day, they're the cost of living in a functioning society, for things like roads, schools, and safety. You pay taxes on the money you earn, the stuff you buy, and yeah, even on the money your investments make. And Social Security and Medicare? You can think of those as a kind of forced savings plan for your own future retirement and healthcare. Okay, so you take what's left of your paycheck and you put it in a bank. But what happens then? It's so easy to picture your money just sitting in some giant vault, maybe guarded by a dragon, but that's not how it works at all. A bank is really just a financial matchmaker. This whole process is called fractional reserve banking. See, when you deposit money, the bank is only required to keep a small fraction of it on hand. The rest of it, they lend it out to someone else who wants to buy a car or start a business. Your money is already out there in the world doing stuff. And that brings us to the money itself. I mean, what even is it? That dollar bill in your wallet is fundamentally just a piece of paper with some ink on it. The only thing that gives it any value is our collective agreement that it has value. It's this incredibly powerful idea built entirely on shared trust. Okay, so we've got the basic plumbing down. Now let's talk about two concepts that are like two-sided coins. They can either work powerfully for you or powerfully against you. And this is where your personal actions really start to move the needle. I love this because it perfectly captures the two faces of interest. When you're paying it, like on a credit card, it is a relentless enemy. It can turn tiny mistakes into massive financial fires. That $12 burrito can become a $50 regret. But when you're earning it through savings or investments, it's your best employee, working for you 24/7 to make you more money. It's like a financial cheat code. Next up, your credit score. Now, this is super important. This number is not a measure of how rich you are, it's a measure of how trustworthy you appear to be. Lenders use this three-digit number, somewhere between 300 and 850, to basically guess if you're going to pay them back. It's a grade for your financial reliability. So how did they come up with this number? Well, lenders are basically watching 5 key things. The big one, number 1, is your payment history. Do you pay your bills on time? They also look at how much of your available credit you're using. Then there's the age of your accounts, the mix of different credit types you have, and how often you're applying for new credit. Those are the rules of the game.
All right, let's zoom out for a second. Beyond our own personal finances, there are these huge forces at play, the economic weather, if you will. You can't control them, but you absolutely have to understand them if you want to navigate your financial life successfully. First up, inflation. And you've definitely felt this one. It's that slow, quiet process that makes your money less powerful over time. Your $5 bill is still, a $5 bill, but you'll notice it buys you fewer instant noodles or less gas than it did just last year. That's inflation in a nutshell. The other big weather event you hear about is a recession. Now, officially, it's just when the economy shrinks for 6 months straight. But in real human terms, it means jobs are lost, companies are tightening their belts, and there's just this general feeling of uncertainty that makes everybody spend less. And this just nails the natural rhythm of it all.
The economy moves in cycles, kind of like a party. First, you have the boom. The party is in full swing. Everything's great. Then you hit the peak, or maybe the lights start to flicker a bit. Then comes the bust, the recession, and the DJ is playing sad lo-fi beats. But it's not the end. It's just a painful reset that eventually leads to a slow rebuild. So, with all of that in mind, the system, the personal report cards, the economic weather, what can you actually control? This brings us to our final and, honestly, most empowering section, the ultimate resources that you have at your disposal. Remember inflation, that quiet thief we talked about? Well, investing is your #1 defense against it. It's the act of putting your money to work. Instead of just trading your time for money, you start trading your money for more money. So what does that even look like? Well, the most common ways are buying stocks, which are just tiny slices of a company, bonds, which are basically loans you give to a government or a corporation, funds, which are like convenient baskets of many different stocks and bonds, and of course, real estate. And underneath all of this is the concept of value. Value isn't always about what something is made of. This quote just nails it. Something is valuable simply because people agree that it is. Whether it's a luxury handbag or a popular stock, it's that perceived value that drives the price. Understanding that is, well, it's everything. But here's the crucial thing. Building that kind of wealth doesn't happen overnight. It just doesn't. Which means the single most powerful asset you have, it's not some stock tip, it's not even a high income, it's time.
And time is the magic ingredient for something called compound growth. In the beginning, growth is slow. Year 1, your money grows a tiny bit. But then you hit year 10, and it starts growing faster. By year 30, it's not just growing anymore, it's multiplying. A small amount invested consistently over a long, long time can become an absolute fortune.
So many people are afraid of investing because of the risk of losing money. And yeah, the markets go up and down. But this, right here, this frames the real risk perfectly. The biggest danger isn't losing some money in the short term. It's the absolute certainty of losing your money's value over the long term by doing nothing at all. Which brings us right back to one of our core ideas. We've seen how all these forces work. So now you have a choice. Are you going to be the person paying interest, letting that force work against you day after day? Or are you going to be the one earning it, putting it to work for you? The choice of who collects is ultimately